Police officer stops lady driver with passenger on the road. She opens the door and mouths, "Help me." Police officers are accustomed to danger. It's an integral part of their job. They spend years training to recognize it and to efficiently neutralize threats as quickly as possible. However, there are occasions when even the most experienced and courageous police officers struggle to discern a genuine threat. In such moments, they must rely on their instincts to ensure the safety of all involved. Kayla Wallace is an award-winning South Carolina police officer. Throughout her life, she has always had a strong protective instinct. From an early age, Wallace felt the need to protect others and was always looking for ways to get involved in activities where she could help and serve others. She was a humble, brave, and altruistic person. There was not a hint of selfishness in her, not even when she had reason to be selfish and look out for her own interests. Kayla always found a way to do something good for someone, and that made her tremendously special. Her parents were a husband and wife team of civil servants working at North Myrtle Beach City Hall, Marlene and Charlie Wallace. Everyone said that if Kayla was such a good person, it was because of them. The Wallaces were well liked in the community and were described by all their friends as extremely kind and helpful people. They didn't have a single enemy. And precisely because of that, when their only daughter Kayla came into this world 20 years ago now, everyone was so happy for them. And not just because they'd become parents, but because the community knew that this child would be as good and indispensable to them as her parents were. And they weren't wrong. By high school, Kayla was beginning to have a clear idea of her future. She was a good student and excelled both academically and athletically. In fact, she was the captain of the basketball team and the leading scorer in the last 2 state championships. She was a superb player. However, Wallace knew that sports was not her future. Although she loved it and it would always be a part of her life, she had other plans and knew exactly what she wanted to do the day she finished her mandatory studies. Have you decided what to do after high school, Kayla? I've been analyzing your file and in my opinion, I think you could apply to some of the best colleges in the state. I'm sure they'd be thrilled to have a student like you among them. You're a brilliant student. It'd be a waste if you don't go to a good university, don't you think? Her guidance counselor, Angelina Beckett, told her during her senior year of high school. Everyone was convinced that Kayla would go on to study and have a brilliant career no matter what she ended up choosing. However, to everyone's surprise, Wallace did not want to go to college. She had known this since she was a child and her plans had not changed during her teenage years. "I'm sorry, Miss Beckett, I don't plan to send an application to any college. Not the best, not the worst. I simply don't plan to go to college, that's the truth," Wallace replied without a hint of doubt in her voice. "You're not going to college? How can that be? What are you going to do then?" the woman asked in alarm. Miss Beckett was known to have a soft spot for good students. She loved to get close to them and become their mentor. Her goal was to get them to the top of their careers, and she always did, but this time that would not be possible. "I'll be a cop, and not just any cop. I'll be the best cop in the city's police department. I give you my word, ma'am," Kayla said proudly as she rose from her seat with a big smile and extended her hand to her guidance counselor. "It was a pleasure to meet you, miss. I'm sorry to disappoint you. I know you had other plans for me, but the truth is you never had any choice. I'll be a policewoman, that's all there is to it," and she walked away, leaving Angelina Beckett for the first time ever unwilling to say the last word. And she kept her word. After graduating from high school and spending several months undergoing extensive training, Kayla Wallace was sworn in as a police officer in January 2021. And just as she told her guidance counselor a year and a half earlier, Kayla didn't just graduate as an ordinary officer. She graduated as the Academy's valedictorian and became one of the department's top officers in a very short time. The North Myrtle Beach Police Department was really proud of Wallace, and they were giving her more and more important assignments. She did not let them down. In fact, one of her biggest successes during her first few years on the force was during a routine night patrol. Kayla and her companions made these rounds every day, and while it was usual for there to be no serious incidents, Wallace had to deal with a really tough case during one of them. She was just following protocol and didn't think her night shift would end with the arrest of a wanted suspect for a felony that had just been reported a few minutes earlier. Wallace was about to finish her shift and was patrolling the main avenue late at night when she saw a white Jeep running a red light. The car was speeding and had just committed a serious violation, so Kayla didn't hesitate. She sped up to catch up to the car and asked it to stop. However, when Wallace got out of the car to ask for her ID and inform her of the infraction she just committed, the young officer was met with something she didn't expect. A female driver and a male passenger were in the car. The female driver appeared to be in distress, breathing heavily, and her hands were gripping the steering wheel very tightly. For his part, the passenger was impassive, acting as if the police were not there and just kept his head looking straight ahead. Wallace had a bad feeling, and once again she wasn't wrong. As Kayla examined the car, the driver looked her straight in the eyes. She was scared to death. Then, without raising her voice, she managed to utter several times a word that could confirm the officer's suspicions. "Help me." The agent analyzed the situation and asked the passenger to get out of the car. "Sir, could you take off your seatbelt and come with me? Don't worry, it'll only be a few questions. I have to follow protocol, then I'll let you go," lied Wallace to get the mysterious man out of the car and away from the driver. This woman was scared, and she had just asked her for help. It was clear that she had to act and that she had to do it with caution so the suspect would not attack. The man complied. She walked him to the patrol car and put him in the back of her police vehicle, then returned to the driver to find out the real reason he had run the light. "Who is that man? Do you know him? Is he threatening you? Is that why you can't talk? You're safe now, I promise. You can tell me what happened, nothing will happen to you." When Wallace managed to talk to the driver, she explained that the man in the passenger seat had just shot someone at a nearby gas station and then forced her to drive at gunpoint. "I didn't want to run the light, I'm a good driver, you know, but that man's crazy. He started shooting while I was getting gas and then he came up to me and pointed the gun at me. I didn't know what to do, officer. I was so scared I accelerated without realizing. I wasn't aware of what I was doing. I could only think about saving myself," confessed the driver in tears. The woman's name was Beatrice. She was a middle-aged woman and a mother. She had simply been unlucky. "You don't have to apologize for anything. You're safe now, it's all over. You were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Anyone else in your place would have done the same thing, or maybe not. Surely they would have lost their nerve and done something that would have put them in danger, but not you. You've been very brave, Beatrice. I congratulate you." Within moments after the woman confessed, a BOLO alert was sent out about a white Jeep SUV without license plates involved in a shooting. Wallace received the alert just 10 minutes after putting the suspect in the back of her car. Upon hearing the alert over the internal radio, Wallace proceeded to officially arrest the suspect and put him in handcuffs. It turned out that the mystery man in the white Jeep was allegedly responsible for the shooting at a nearby gas station. Police described him as a black male wearing blue jeans and a blue and white Jordan sneakers. All were characteristics that matched the passenger in the white Jeep. Officer Wallace apparently did not know about the shooting until the alert was sent out. She was just doing her job by stopping a vehicle that had run a red light. However, unbeknownst to her, she was doing something much more important than writing a traffic ticket. Upon arrival at the police station, Wallace learned that the arrested man was facing various charges of attempted murder, kidnapping, and possession of a weapon during a point-blank robbery at a gas station. The weapon was later found under the seat of the car in which the suspect and his hostage were riding. The car she stopped for running a red light and later unknowingly became essential evidence in the case. If you'd not stopped that car and followed your instinct, that woman would have been dead and that criminal would have been on the run in Mexico. Once again, you've shown what a great police officer you are, Kayla, but above all, you've shown your great courage as a human being. You have acted cautiously, thinking about the best way to do your job without anyone getting hurt. That was great, the police sergeant in charge told her the next day. Kayla didn't want to take all the credit for the case, but she couldn't stop it. Days later, Wallace was praised by the entire team for a job well done during the arrest. But young Kayla's long list of successes would not stop there. The North Myrtle Beach Police Department has shared many of her milestones in the department since then. The arrest of that dangerous criminal was only the beginning of a long list of excellently solved cases. No matter how complex, Wallace always found a way to solve the case and put the bad guys behind bars. The following year, the department recognized Wallace as Agent of the Year. It's the highest award a police officer can aspire to, and Wallace had achieved it in just 3 years, breaking all records. Officer Wallace was selected for her proactive policing efforts. She is a great example of a dedicated guardian of our North Myrtle Beach community, the Facebook post from the department's official account read. Currently, Wallace is a police non-commissioned officer, the youngest in the department. Her team decided to give her a promotion for her more than proven merits and her formidable teamwork. Kayla is the kind of person we should all aspire to be, or at least try to. Someone brave, intelligent, and at the same time deeply altruistic. Her love for the community is what makes her so special and what saved that woman from having died at the hands of a fugitive criminal. Her disinterest in fame is the key to success in life. Hearing this story reminds us of it. Did you like this touching and surprising story? If so, we invite you to leave us a comment expressing your opinion. If you want to continue enjoying inspiring stories like this one, subscribe to our channel or check out the other videos shown at the bottom of the screen. Thank you for your cooperation.